lovely people inside, you know. But I'm no Dolce & Gabbana model, okay? There are sexy people and there are people. And some girls are sexy, you know? They might not be sexy inside, but some girls are like, you know.
Whoa.
That's just the way that be. Move on to Mass Effect Legendary Edition hype, or a discussion at least of sorts. So, this one's an interesting one because there are a couple of things I want to cover within it and talk about. So, you probably know by now, and you've probably seen the story about this. There's a couple of issues. It's cool that we're getting a 4K Ultra HD, especially if you have a 4K device or what have you, and you have the 4K capability to see it in there. But there are some considerations, I suppose, and that's that there's an argument there's maybe some censorship stuff going on, whether you call it censorship or not. There's also the issue that one of the DLCs won't be included, so it's kind of like the complete edition, but not of the trilogy. So in case you don't know as well, Legendary Edition of Mass Effect basically means Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 with all the DLCs minus the Pinnacle Station DLC. I just did a spit there. I bet I didn't capture out a little bit of spit coming out there. So yeah, it's 4K, it's HDR, it's giving the things a facelift and that, and making things look a little bit nicer. Some people are arguing that it's making things feel a little less kind of surreal and dark because it's lightening things up a bit. But it's a nightmare to get Mass Effect 3 all the DLC with the current Origin system that EA's got going on there. So this is probably the only way to get it clean. But the Pinnacle Station DLC, which I remember to be, I can't remember if you guys know and remember, was Pinnacle DLC a good DLC? I think it was. I remember it being a good DLC. Not very long, but good. Was that the one with the explosion thing, the explosive thingy-majiggy? I think it. Oh no, wait there. Wasn't that the one where you had to do like a shooting gallery type thing? Actually, so it's not maybe a big deal. Actually, more of a bigger deal is the fact that there's no now. Confession. Me and a crew of my boys then back when we used to just play a bunch of multiplayer stuff together. Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was our jam. We played that for about 8, 9, 10, 11 months straight exclusively. And it was that multiplayer, if you haven't played it, well, it won't probably be any good now because there's probably no one playing. But man, it was so good. It was beautiful. It's tactical. You know, you got so many different powers and stuff. You can, you know, I'll use my Asari and freeze dudes and then pop them in the head with the, is it Phalanx cannon or whatever, that very powerful pistol. So good. And yeah, it's not included. And I'm surprised because EA usually like money. And they were selling a load of loot boxes with that game. But it wasn't pay to win because it was against AI, by the way. So you'd be like, four of the galaxy's finest. You could play as Asaris. The only thing you couldn't play as was probably Elcor, but you could unlock them and stuff, and it was very addictive. You know, you could do powers and stuff. Such a good. I feel like playing it now, just talking about it. Did any of you guys have an addiction to Mass Effect 3 multiplayer like me and my boys did at one point? It was so good. And I say boys literally because mostly the guys that one. Left 4 Dead we had guys, girls, but Mass Effect 1 was the core crew. And that was the man's them. It was so good. I'm kind of sad that it's you know, I'm kind of sad that it's not. I mean, yeah, you like money. So I don't understand, but they're not doing it. So yeah. In addition to that, though, they're gonna cut back on butt shots according to a PC Gamer article. I don't know about this because there's already a suggestion that to some practitioners of gaming, some people argue that, you know, the wokeness of the Western society means that now women's sexiness is now censored altogether. If a woman is not traditionally attractive in the medium, and I'm talking about the science of things. I'm not talking about, look, we're all lovely people inside, but I'm no Dolce & Gabbana model, okay? There are sexy people and there are people. And some girls are sexy, They might not be sexy inside, but some girls are like,
Whoa.
that's just the way that be, and that's fine. But Western games especially seem to have a serious problem with the idea of attractive women and the idea of attractive women or men enjoying attractive women. It seems to be fine if the character's like a lesbian or something, but if it's a heterosexual, to me, from my perspective, I saw Mass Effect 1 and 2 just kind of like let you do your thing. You want to do dudes, you can do dudes. You want to do chicks, you do chicks. You do want to do multiple, you do multiple. But like Mass Effect 3, even though I only got halfway through in that game, it seemed to change that whole thing. And I think they got different types of writers that might be why the reason that it changed. But like everybody wanted to just hang out all of a sudden. You had characters that wanted to play chess, and they literally wanted to play just chess. So yeah, it's not great. I do worry about it a little bit. Not that and I don't want to, I don't want to give the impression here that like Miranda butt shots are a deal breaker. I'm not saying don't buy a Mass Effect Legendary Edition now because you're not going to get the extra shots of a Miranda's butt. But like, it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. We're in a world where a lot of women don't mind taking a lot of weird pictures and stuff of their body parts and disseminating it around the world. And Western games are scared of, women that look good, because I mean, at the end of the day, any of us can be look a certain way for, but it takes a certain effort to look a certain way that is being potentially demonized, So I don't know, what else are they going to censor or remove or whatever you want to call it? I don't know. Is it no reaction? Do you guys care? Does it make a difference? Are you worried? Is it just, am I being a sexist, foolish male that needs to get a whole bunch of subscribers to our excellent Patreon that's now been updated and has a whole bunch of cool tiers like tier Ichi and tier Ni, and we also have the Simpleton tier as well, the Simp tier 3. Tier 1 and up gives you access to the Velvet Room, but if you're really broke, you can always check out the tier 0, which is all good as well. But yeah, anyway, that just came out of nowhere. I'm sorry about that. I think that's everything I want to say. Oh, one more thing before we go down. There was a claim, I don't know if you guys remember this back in the day. In my day. There was a whole controversy about the Mass Effect Andromeda female characters, which by the way, they butchered the multiplayer on Andromeda. It just wasn't the same. But they kind of took these, and if you're seeing the visual, I don't know if you got a visual mode on Spotify, Webby, but if you're seeing the visual, I got the page up open here, and this is the sun. I know, it's the sun, but it shows the original model here, and they've clearly squashed her face. They've squashed her face and squashed her nose and made it more dumpy. And then they got a male model here for the male Ryder. So the character's called Ryder in the protagonist in the game rather than Shepard. And they left his face pretty much the same. Whereas they made the that guy that does makeup will be wetting himself over this guy right now. They literally squashed the female's face so that she looks kind of like girl next door dumpy, but it's clearly like a model that's like quite easy on, like if you look at the original woman here, she's like she's a bit in a way that she doesn't look in the game, and it just doesn't make sense why they do that. And there was some kind of thing that was suggesting that there's a lot of games that have made girls just look consistently media scientifically unattractive in the same way that people would say that I'm scientifically not as attractive as certain dudes in Hollywood or whatever. I don't know, right? So just in case, girls think, they're thinking that's type of thing. I'm saying the same for even myself. I'm not the male Madonna or nothing, but I don't expect all my games to have guys that look like me to balance things out. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with having attractive dudes in a game for the ladies or the guys if you're that way inclined. And there's nothing wrong with stuff for us straight boys either. We can have good looking girls. You know, look at all the girls in the Outer Worlds. They all look like they wear lumberjack. No, let's not go there. Anyway, let's move on.